So when we practice Satipatthana according to the instruction given by the Buddha, we will direct mindfulness to note the four Satipatthana objects, the body, feeling, consciousness, and Dhamma, general phenomena. So we direct our mindfulness in order to note these four objects as they arise within our experience. And how do we note them? So the Buddha says anupassana, so contemplation. So this means to note continuously, to note relentlessly, without a break. Noting one moment of experience after another, continuously, relentlessly, without a break. And in each moment, when we note an experience object, we have to note precisely. Okay? That's what the Buddha means. Not contemplate body in the body, feeling in feelings, consciousness in consciousness, Dhamma in Dhammas. Not precisely. Yeah. And in each moment, when we attempt to note the object precisely, the noting mind must be accompanied by three qualities. So the first one is given by the Buddha as atapi. So the noting mind must possess this ardent, burning effort. The burning effort that continuously exert the noting mind in order to note each object properly. The ardent, burning effort that keeps the mental defilements at bay, keep the mind pure, clean, wholesome, so that it's clear, so that the noting is effective. Okay? The noting can be carried out effectively. The second quality of mind that the noting mind must possess is, as we have discussed in the last talk, satima, mindfulness. So there must be this pure, wholesome awareness that establishes the noting mind firmly on the object by immersing the noting mind into the object, not allowing the noting mind to turn away from the object or to forget the object. And the third qualities that the noting mind must possess is sampajano. So the noting mind must possess this quality of clear comprehension. So we must possess this clarity of discernment. Okay. So, yeah. Now, what exactly is this clear comprehension, sampajanya? Okay. So there's two words, sampajano and sampajanya. Sampajanya is the quality itself, clear comprehension. But in the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha says sampajano. Sampajano means one who possesses this quality of clear comprehension. Okay. Yeah, the quality itself is sampajanya. So, yeah. Now, sampajanya actually is synonymous with panya. You all know what is panya, wisdom. You practice vipassana, you must know what is panya. You don't know what is panya, then Panya, so it's synonymous with panya, wisdom. Also synonymous with jnana, clear knowledge. Also with vipassana. Vipassana means clear insight. Okay? All these terms, wisdom, clear knowledge, insight, clear comprehension. Okay? So all this refer to the same thing. It refers to wisdom. So, and sampajanya, this quality of clear comprehension, it is a necessary quality of the noting mind. Okay? So, yeah. You see, vipassana meditation, you can be described as sati sampajanya, mindfulness together with clear comprehension. So even in the Satipatthana Sutta, so the Buddha, in describing the Satipatthana, he also says that as mindfulness, as clear comprehension. Okay? So vipassana meditation actually can be described as sati sampajanya, mindfulness together with clear comprehension, or the development of mindfulness together with clear comprehension. Okay? And this is an important point to note, okay? Because sometimes you hear people say, vipassana meditation is mindfulness meditation, okay? Just mindfulness. So, but that's wrong. It is mindfulness, but it is not just mindfulness. Okay? So it is mindfulness together with clear comprehension, together with this insight that discerns clearly the true nature of this mental, physical phenomena as they really are. Okay, so it must come with clear comprehension. Okay, otherwise it's not vipassana. If it is just mindfulness without clear comprehension, then the yogi may end up doing some kind of samatha. You see, mindfulness, sati, as we mentioned the other day, samasati, right mindfulness in the Noble Eightfold Path. It comes under samadhi khanda, the group of concentration. Right? So, because of its nature, this nature of mindfulness, it establishes the noting mind firmly on the object. Right? So, and this helps to give rise to focus attention. So it gives rise to samadhi. So, but if you stop here, then all you get is just samadhi, no panya. Okay? So, for example, by the yogi exert the mind, exert effort to continuously direct mindfulness, rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Right? So, because there's mindfulness, exercising its function, establishing firmly on the object. So over time, the mind becomes firmly established on the rising, falling. So the mind becomes focused on the rising, falling. So there's samadhi. And with this samadhi, the yogi will be able to follow the rising, falling continuously without being distracted away. So some can even sit for hours and hours if the samadhi is very strong. So, but if that is all that the yogi is doing, is just following the rising, falling, without exploring into the nature of the rising, falling, then the yogi will end up doing some kind of samatha. So it's something like anapanasati. If you practice anapanasati as a samatha meditation, then all you do is you just follow in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So you're following the concept of in and out, in and out. You don't turn your attention to explore the nature of the elements connected with the breath. You just follow in, out, in, out. So after a while, you get a samadhi, right? Same with the yogi. You just follow up, down, up, down, up, down. So after a while, you become established in samadhi. You may even get some kind of nimitta also. You may see the image of the abdomen going up, down, up, down. After a while, maybe the abdomen also become like a ball, very bright, shining. Yeah, can happen. So, yeah, it can happen if all you do is just fixing your mind on the rising, falling, without directing the mind to explore into the nature of the rising, falling. So mindfulness alone is not enough. Mindfulness falls under the concentration, the group of concentration. Okay? So to do vipassana meditation, you must go a step further. So with the samadhi that you have established by means of mindfulness, you must then allow the mind, based on this samadhi, you must then allow the mind to explore into the nature of rising, falling. Explore nature of the, for example, the sabbhava lakkhana, the unique characteristic of the wind element, tightness, tension, pressure, connected with the rising, falling. So as you observe rising, falling, you feel, let your mind feel clearly all the different physical sensation as present, as it rises, as it falls. You can feel these qualities like tightness, tension, stiffness, pressure, expansion, contraction. So all these are the unique nature, unique characteristic of the wind element. This is called sabbhava lakkhana, unique characteristic. You also explore from there. You also explore what we call sankhata lakkhana, how this characteristic, how this tightness or tension or pressure, how they constantly arise and disappear due to conditions. This is called sankhata lakkhana, conditioned nature. And also finally also samanya lakkhana, universal characteristic. How due to the constant arising and disappearing, how they are impermanent, suffering, non-self. Okay? Yeah, so you must take it a step further, allow, based on the samadhi that has been developed through mindfulness. Allow the mind to explore into this various nature of the rising, falling. So exploring into this nature, this is called Dhamma Vicaya, investigation of the Dhamma, investigation of natural phenomena, or you can even say investigation of nature. So this Dhamma Vicaya, this is another synonym for Panya. So Panya has got many different terms. Buddha described Panya in various ways. Okay? So Dhamma Vichaya also is synonymous with Panya. So only when there's such exploration, clear discernment of the nature of the rising, falling, then you can say that there is sati sampajanya, as mindfulness together with clear comprehension. Then only you can say that you are practicing vipassana meditation. Now, as to the meaning of sampajanya, so sampajanya is derived from a root word. Every word in the Pali language is derived from a certain root. So, in the case of sampajanya, the root is nya. Nya means knowing. Okay? So, nya, knowing. And then to this root nya or knowing, you add the prefix pa. So, pa and then nya. What do you get? Panya. Right? So, panya, wisdom. So that's why we say sampajanya is a synonymous term. It's synonymous with panya. Okay? So, yeah. So nya means knowing. So then you add the prefix pa. So then it modifies its meaning a little. Okay, so pa is you can look at it as a intensifier prefix. It intensifies the meaning. So you add it to the root nya, so it intensifies the meaning, knowing. So not just knowing, but knowing distinctly or knowing clearly. So it's different from ordinary knowing, different from ordinary superficial kind of knowing that only knows on the surface level. So panya is different from this. Panya is a deeper kind of knowing. Okay, so it's knowing exactly, knowing precisely, knowing clearly, knowing distinctly. So it's a, you can say, intensified kind of knowing. So, or you can say a more profound kind of knowing. So, now it's interesting to observe that now we say that panya. So even though this wisdom of panya is synonymous with Dhamma Vichaya, investigation of the Dhamma, but panya is not, when we say investigation, when we say panya is an investigation of the Dhamma, of nature, it is not investigation in the ordinary sense that we usually understand the word investigation. Okay? So this investigation does not involve any intellectual analysis, thinking, pondering, or application of logic or inference and so on. Okay? So you see, the root of panya is nya. Nya simply means knowing. Right? It simply means knowing. But then you add a prefix pa, so it is intensified kind of knowing. Okay, so, but it's simply knowing. It's not you're thinking, pondering, like what we normally do when investigate. You're simply knowing, but knowing in an intensified manner. It's a kind of knowing that comes with intense focus, attention, that is capable of penetrating beneath the surface of the object in order to uncover its deeper and true nature of the object. Okay? So there's no exercise of intellect involved in this investigation. No thinking, no analyzing, no pondering, no logic, no inference, nothing like this. Okay? So this panya, this wisdom, they arise simply out of this continuous focus, attention on the object. So that means they arise from anupassana. Arise from anupassana. This continuous noting, relentless noting. Okay, so and this relentless noting, anupassana, involves what? It involves ardent effort, right? Which, in terms of the Noble Eightfold Path, is the path factor of Samma Vayama, right effort. It involves sati, mindfulness, which is Samma Sati in the Noble Eightfold Path, the right mindfulness. So it involves samadhi, this focused attention, which is in the Noble Eightfold Path, Samma Samadhi. Okay? So it involves this right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So all the three factors of the samadhi kanda, the group of concentration. So together, these three factors, they work together to establish this focused attention, continuous focused attention on the object. Then once this focused attention is established, then you direct it by means of samma sankappa, right thought. You direct it to contemplate the nature of the object. And by contemplating the nature of the object, it gives rise to samadhi, right view, which is another synonym for panya, right view. So there are so many synonyms for panya. Right view is also a synonym for panya. Okay. So by means of developing focused attention, by making effort, right effort to bring up right mindfulness, to establish right concentration, and then you direct it with right thought to explore the nature of the object, give rise to right view, which is the wisdom that discern clearly the nature of the object. When you discern clearly the nature of the object, you see clearly, for example, nature of impermanent, suffering, non-self, then you have right view concerning the nature of the object. So panya is actually right view. So panya is simply a way of knowing. So it's not, doesn't involve any thinking, analysis, and so on. That's why when you practice vipassana meditation, the teacher always tell you, don't think, just observe. Just keep observing. Observe again and again and again and again until your mind sink in and see clearly the nature that is right there. The nature is right there. All you need is for the mind to be there with it, with the object, and observe carefully. It's all right there. So when the mind is clear enough, when there's sufficient focus, attention, the mind can discern clearly the nature that is right there. You do not need to think, you do not need to ponder, to analyze, to apply logic and so on. It's all right there. All you need to do is to discern it clearly. So it's a way of knowing. Panya is a way of knowing. So this is what we mean by wisdom in the Buddha's teaching. Outside of the Buddha's teaching, wisdom may mean something else. But in the Buddha's teaching, panya simply means this clarity of mind that discerns clearly the nature that is there in each moment of experience. Okay, so you have the root word nya, and then you add the prefix pa, so you have panya. So then after that, you have to add another prefix. Right? You add another prefix sam, and the sampanya, and then you double up the root. So add another nya to it. Then you get sampajanya. Yeah. Okay, so the prefix pa, the meaning, it intensify the meaning. Now, what about the prefix sam? It also modifies the meaning. Right? So the meaning of this prefix sam in this context is explained in the sub-commentary to the Satipatthana Sutta. So they explain in three ways. Samma samantato samancha pajananto sampajano. So there's three things, three meanings. Samma pajananto, samantato pajananto, samancha pajananto. So they explain the meaning of sam as samma, as samanta, as sama. Yeah. So samma pajananto means knowing clearly in a way that is correct. So samma means correct or right. So for example, samaditi, right view. So samma here. So samma pajananto, knowing, clearly knowing, correctly. Okay. And then samantato pajananto. So samanta means all around. So knowing clearly in a way that is, you can say, all-rounded, all around, something like that. And then samam pajananto. This means knowing by oneself, knowing clearly by oneself. Okay. So of course, when I explain like this, you still won't understand. So we have to explain in more detail. So the first one, samma pajananto, clearly knowing in a way that is correct. That means knowing clearly, knowing correctly. Okay? So in the sub-commentary, they explain further what does this mean. So what is that? Asamisato vavatthane anya dhamma nupasita bhavena sama aviparitam. So this means knowing clearly. Knowing correctly means knowing in an undistorted manner. Okay. So, and how does he know in an undistorted manner? It says, Anya Dhammam Anupasita Bhavena. That means by means of contemplating each individual Dhamma or each individual nature, whether mental or physical nature. So contemplating each individual nature separately. That's the meaning of knowing clearly, correctly. Okay, so by means of contemplating each individual nature as they arise separately. So take for example, when you're not rising, falling. So when you're not rising, falling, and when your mind is clear, so you're not rising. So rising is one thing, you know clearly. Rising is one thing. Then after that, falling is another thing, right? So you know each occurrence, each experience separately. Okay. At first, you just follow rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. You think it's just one thing going on, the same abdomen. Yes, the same abdomen that's going up, same abdomen that's going down. Right? But as you keep following again and again, rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. After a while, when your mind becomes clear enough, then you begin to realize actually it's not just one thing. It's not just one same thing going on all the time. Rising is one thing, falling is another thing. Then the next rising is yet another. The next falling is yet another. So you know clearly each individual Dhamma separately. You see them as something separate, one from the other. So that's what it means. Amisato, asamisato, not mixed up. Okay, so so you know each individual nature separately in a way that is not mixed up together. So even later on, as you develop further, your mind gets clearer and clearer. Even within rising, you see, it's not just rising. It's rising, then rising, and rising, and rising, right? So when your mind is clear enough, then you can discern, oh, this rising is one. Then rising again, and this rising is something else, not the same as the first rising. And then rise again, this again is something else. So you see one thing after another, rising, rising, rising. Each Dhamma you see separately. You discern it as something separate. Okay, so it's not just one single rising continuously from beginning to the end, but it's just rising and then rising and then rising again and again. Each one separate occurrence. Same with the falling, 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 falling. So you can discern this clearly, each one separately. As your mind gets clear enough, you begin to discern the physical sensation underlying this, the movement. Right? So you notice this rising is actually the sensation, tightness, 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 one after another, or tension, tension, tension. And when you note, you can distinguish clearly each tightness, each tension, separate from the other. There is tightness, then another tightness, then another tightness. So each one is a different tightness. So not mixed together. Okay. So this is clear comprehension. Knowing like this is clear comprehension. Okay? In the beginning, the mind cannot see it like this. In the beginning, everything is all mixed up like a salad bowl. So some people even was smoothie, all that together. So But when the mind gets clearer and clearer and clearer, so the noting is very clear cut. When you note one noting, you pick up one nature. Another noting, you pick up another nature, then another nature, another nature. Each nature separate from the other. So, yeah, not just the physical nature, not just the rupa dhamma, also the mental nature, the nama dhamma also. So, you note, for example, the rising, you note there's tightness. Each time you note tightness, and your mind is clear enough, you may even notice there's a knowing of the tightness. Then another tightness, then another knowing of tightness, then another tightness, another knowing of tightness. Each knowing, each quality of knowing that arises with each tightness is a separate knowing, is a separate quality. Nature may be similar, the same, but when the mind is clear, it discerns clearly that it is a separate quality, separate occurrence. Okay? Actually, this is what we call nama rupa paricheda. So that means paricheda means you see the boundary of each phenomena. So paricheda means you set the boundary. So this is beginning, this is the end of this quality, something like that. So you see each quality separately, they are not mixed together. So you don't see the boundary between them, that means that they're all mixed up together. So in the beginning, you cannot distinguish the boundary between each phenomena clearly. So, but once the mind is clear enough, you can distinguish very clearly. So it's nama rupa paricheda. Yeah. So this is called samma pajananto, knowing clearly knowing in a correct manner. And this is clear comprehension. Clear comprehension by distinguishing each Dhamma, each nature in terms of its unique nature, the sabbhava. Okay, so then the second is samantato pajananto. So clearly knowing in a way that is all around. So, so what does this mean? So in the sub-commentary again, they explain sabbakara pajananena samantato. Okay, so knowing all around, knowing clearly all around, by means of knowing the object in every way, in every manner. So what does this mean? So once the yogi, the mind has developed sufficiently and you can distinguish clearly each nature, each Dhamma separately as they arise. Then as the yogi continue his or her practice, gradually as the mind becomes clearer and clearer, then at some point you begin to discern clearly the manner of occurrence of each of these Dhamma. So each of this nature that arise, you discern the manner of its occurrence. So for example, tightness. So you're not rising, rising is tightness. So when your mind is clear enough, at first you just see the tightness, one quality of tightness after another. But when the mind is clear enough, at some point you begin to discern that each tightness, it arises. There's a point of arising and there's a point where it disappears completely. So each tightness arises and then disappear. So, in the beginning, you do not discern this clearly. In the beginning, all you discern is just quality. You're not clear enough to discern. When we say arising, means the very first moment of its arising. And when we say disappearing, it means that moment when it completely disappears, where it vanishes completely. So in the beginning, this is not clear to the yogi. Okay, but as you develop your practice, your mind gets clearer and clearer. Then at some point you begin to discern more and more clearly, rising, disappearing. So each Dhamma that arises, it has three phases: phase of arising, and then the phase of disappearance. And in between arising and disappearance, there is a phase we call the presence. So this is called Sankhata Lakkhana. So it's conditioned nature. All things that are conditioned, they arises when the suitable conditions are present. Then they remain for a while. When the condition disappear, they also disappear. Okay. So this is one manner of occurrence of this Dhamma, this nature. Every nature that the yogi discern, he sees that they arise, they disappear. And discern tightness, the tightness arises and disappear. Stiffness, the stiffness arises and disappear. So you note heat, the heat arises and disappear. And knowing, the knowing also arises and disappear. This is the manner of their occurrence. Sankhata Lakkhana. Okay. Then by continuously noting arising and disappearing in this way, so gradually as the yogi develops his practice, the mind gets clearer and clearer still. And then at some point you begin to realize, simply by observing this continuous process of arising, disappearing of this nama rupa, this mental physical nature, moment after moment after moment. When the mind is clear enough, begin to discern the manner how each of this Dhamma, each of this nature, they disappear as soon as they arise. So every single Dhamma that is noted, you see that it disappears, it disappears. As soon as it arises, it disappears. Nothing remains. Right? So this is the nature of anicca, impermanence. So this is another manner of occurrence of this Dhamma, this nature of impermanence. Okay? And then the yogi also realized the manner how each of these Dhamma they arise and disappear, and they can never remain. So nothing arise and then remain. Once they arise, they disappear. So no nature, no Dhamma is secure from change. They are all insecure. So, and this is the nature of dukkha. Okay? So that which is not secure from change, it cannot last forever. So that itself, the very fact that it is insecure, not secure from change, the very fact of that is dukkha. Yada niccam tam dukkham, that which is impermanent is suffering. It is suffering, it is dukkha, precisely because it is impermanent. It never remains. Okay? So that means it's unstable. So not reliable. or they say not satisfactory. It cannot provide you with real satisfaction. How can anything that doesn't last provide any real satisfaction? So this is nature of dukkha. This continuous oppression by this insecurity of rise and fall, rise and fall. That is the nature of dukkha. Notice the word oppression. So this continuous oppression by rise and fall. That is the nature of dukkha. So in real experience, the yogi actually feel when the mind is very, very clear, discerning the nature of this nama rupa, arising, disappearing, continuously, without an end. So to the yogi, it feels very, very oppressive. So this is something you need to experience in order to understand. It is due to this oppressive nature of dukkha that when the yogi sees this nature again and again and again, then finally they become weary, disgusted with this process of suffering. The mind turns away from it, become disenchanted with it, let go of attachment to this. So this is another manner of its occurrence, its nature of suffering. And yogi also realized the manner how this mental physical phenomena, mental physical nature, as they continuously arising and disappearing in a process, how they cannot be subject to any control. You cannot control it as you like. Pain is there, nature of suffering is there. You want it to stop, it doesn't stop. Just because you wish it to stop. You may experience some happiness during your practice, but you want it to last, but it doesn't last. For yogi, you not happiness, it disappears. So it doesn't obey your wish. Okay? You cannot subject it to your control. It doesn't obey you. It proceeds, this process of this mental physical nature. It proceeds according to the natural law of conditionality. Okay? So it doesn't obey your likes and dislikes. So yogi experience it in this way. It feels helpless. You cannot do anything about it. There's dukkha and you cannot do anything about it except to note it. So this is the nature of anatta. So helplessness in the face of suffering. You cannot do anything about it except to continue to note it. So also the yogi will realize that as they continuously note moment after moment, you realize everything disappears, right? Nothing remain, nothing permanent remain from one moment of experience to another. So that means in the center of our experience, there is nothing permanent, no permanent knower and permanent self that survive unchanged from one moment of experience to another. This is also another nature of anatta. So the yogi, as it continuously note this process of nama rupa, so you realize the nature of this nama rupa in all this different manner of occurrence. So this is called samantato, pajananto, clearly knowing, in a way that is all around, knowing in all manner of their occurrence. So this is also clear comprehension. Then lastly is samam pajananto. So means clearly knowing by oneself. So in the practice, we need to make effort ourselves in order to develop clear comprehension. Okay? So no one can do this work for you, not even the Buddha. As I said, the Buddha only points out the way. So you yourself must do the work. So knowing by oneself. So uparupari visesa awaha bhavena bhavatiya samam pajananto. So it knows clearly by oneself, proceeding by means of bringing the mind to higher and higher distinction in knowledge. So you must make effort yourself to bring the mind to higher and higher distinction in knowledge. Okay? So by means of persistent effort, ardent energetic effort, you make you note each Dhamma as they appear separately, note them in all the different manner of occurrence as we described just now. Okay, so as you do this, as you discern the nature again and again repeatedly, the insight that is developed, insight into the nature of this nama rupa. So this insight reach deeper and deeper and deeper. So you reach higher and higher distinction in knowledge, until finally you arrive at Maggaphala Jnana. That's the highest distinction in knowledge. Okay? So that's the meaning of sampajano. That means so the noting mind possess this clear comprehension that knows correctly by distinguishing each Dhamma as they arise separately, without mixing them up together. You are able to tell apart each Dhamma, each nature that arises within your experience. And then knowing each of this individual nature in all their various manner of occurrence in terms of their unique characteristic, sabhava lakkhana, in terms of sankhata lakkhana, the conditioned nature of arising and disappearing continuously. And then samanya lakkhana, the manner of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. And then also knowing by oneself, making effort oneself, so that the development of insight is progressive, so that it progresses continuously, reaching one level of insight after another, higher and higher distinction in knowledge, until finally you arrive at this Maggaphala Jnana. Okay? So this is the meaning of sampajanya, clear comprehension. Basically, it is just the various insight knowledge, various stages of insight knowledge. So beginning from nama rupa paricheda jnana, pacaya parigaha jnana, samasana jnana, and so on. So you reach higher and higher and higher. This clear comprehension, when you're developing this insight, discern clearly. It clearly comprehends the nature of the mental, physical nature that's present within your experience. Okay? There's clear comprehension. So this is wisdom. This is jnana, clear knowledge. Okay? Yeah. Knowing in this way is called Dhamma Vichaya, investigation of the Dhamma. Okay? So you allow the mind to explore clearly into the nature of this mental physical phenomena. Okay? Then by developing this also, you acquire samadhi, right view concerning the nature of this mental physical phenomena. In the commentary, they classified the sampajanya into 4 kinds. So sataka sampajanya, the clear comprehension of what is beneficial. And then sappaya sampajanya, clear comprehension of suitability. And gochara sampajanya, clear comprehension of domain. So then asamoha sampajanya, clear comprehension of non-delusion. So I think we'll discuss these 4 kinds of clear comprehension in the next talk. So we stop here tonight. So you have any questions you can ask?
To ask. The yogis note the occurrence, the rising, falling until that it disappears. So after it disappears, then the yogi will note again, it's rising again and it's falling again. Right. So it disappears, it will not forever disappear, right? So it will come back to the rising again, right?
Say again, the rising disappear and then?
The rising disappeared and then the yogi know that it's disappeared and then the presence also disappeared and then it will, after a while, then the yogi will come back again to the reality because the abdomen is always rising and falling, right? So we will feel that, oh, it's rising again, right?
Yeah, so this means your knowledge is not clear yet. You are still seeing the abdomen as one whole thing. So that means your knowledge is still at the conceptual level. So when you're clear enough, you actually discern each rising is separate thing. When you see like this, then actually you realize there's actually no abdomen. Abdomen is this rising of the abdomen is simply just this series of the wind element occurring one after another. So there's tightness and then tightness and tightness. So that once one tightness arises, it disappears. It's no more. Then another one arises, and then it disappears. And that is a different tightness. And then another one and another one. So when your mind is clear enough, you discern each one is separate. So you still have the idea that it's the same abdomen, then it's not clear enough yet. So when your mind is really into this at the first insight, nama rupa paricheda, everything resolved just into just Dhamma, just into nature, and this nature come one after another, very clearly, one after another after another.
So Bante, so if you, I heard you say that once that we don't see the abdomen, all these things. So once we reach the stage, right, and we see that there is nothing, everything is impermanent. So are we supposed to come back to the reality, or we will let the mind goes on and?
Yes, let the mind go in. Yeah, that's the problem with many yogis. So they always want to come back to what they are familiar with. So, yeah, because sometimes also the experience can be very scary. So, yeah, no, you should let the mind go into this nature. explore into it. So if you come back to the clearly distinct object of the abdomen, rising, falling, that means you're holding back your mind. So instead, you must surrender into it. Have faith in the Dhamma that is unfolding. Surrender into it. Then only you can flow along, and then the development can go on continuously. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bante.
Basically, you still need to put in more effort to develop the practice further.
Can I ask Bante, after I hear all the CD, I can, because I never do rising and falling before. Usually I do Goenkaji's method. So if I hear all your talks, I can start do the rising and falling.
Yeah, you can start the practice on yourself at home. But because right now you don't have opportunity to attend retreat. But next time, if you have the opportunity, then you should go and attend a retreat in order to learn more properly under guidance of a teacher. Okay? But all the basic instruction given previously, this is enough for you to begin your practice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Bante.
Seng Hui. How is higher distinction of knowledge different from mundane knowledge? Yeah, mundane knowledge is everyday knowledge. Yeah, so it's tied up with a lot of concepts. So distinction of knowledge, when you talk about insight. So just what I mean just now, higher and higher distinction of knowledge simply means you deepen the insight into nature of impermanent suffering and non-self. So as the insight reach deeper and deeper and deeper, then it begins to transform the mind from the insight. Okay? So when you keep seeing again and again, more and more clearly, nature, impermanent suffering and non-self, gradually the mind become weary of this process of suffering, disgusted with it, disenchanted with it. Okay, because it's so oppressive. At some point, the mind just don't want to have anything to do with it. Even want to run away. There's a certain stages in the development of the insight when the yogi actually want to pack up the bags and leave the meditation center. So that is a time when the teacher have a very difficult task, persuading the yogi to stay. Because you just want to get away from it, but there's no way out. The only way out is in. You need to go through it. So you need to contemplate it, put more effort into contemplating it, nature of impermanent suffering, non-self, until it go deeper and deeper. Then when the knowledge mature, then you're able to overcome it. So it goes higher and higher. So until finally, the mind totally lets go of the process of suffering, and then insight becomes fully mature. The mind completely let go of attachment to this process of suffering, let go of the cause of suffering. Then at that point, yogi will experience cessation. When you remove the cause, then the effect will cease. Okay? Yeah. That's what we mean, distinction in knowledge. So next question, Bante, when observing rising and falling, it seems that one cannot just focus on just one foundation of mindfulness. When one gives attention to the breath, one is able to see the wind element, water element, heat element, earth element, when the flow of air hit the nostril. So one is using the second foundation of mindfulness. Where is the second foundation of mindfulness? The second is Vedana. All you mentioned here is just all the elements. Elements are kaya. Huh? Yeah. So, and how does one progress from consciousness, mind foundation to Dhamma foundation? Yeah. So as you develop, so yeah, so you're using anapana, so you can notice the element as the breath goes in, it goes out. So, yeah. So as you note, there's also the feeling connected. As your mind becomes clearer, you begin to also discern nature of the mind. So in the mind is actually many things, okay, many mental states together. So there's feeling, there's consciousness, and there are so many other things. So by contemplating the feeling tied up with that, so that's Vedana, Nupassana. If you contemplate the knowing of the breath, that's Citta Nupassana. Okay? And you contemplate, let's say, the Phassa, the contact. So that can come under Dhammanupassana. So one day during sitting, I feel my saliva choking at my throat. Am I tilting my head too much? How do I know? I cannot see. You should know yourself, right? If you are mindful. So, if you feel you are tilting too much, then just mindfully straighten it back. Okay. If too much saliva, then you can mindfully swallow. When do we intend the rise and fall to move up and down? And when do we just allow the rise and fall to go automatically? You should allow it to occur naturally. So, yeah, don't try to intend the rise or intend the fall. You end up controlling the rising and falling. Then you may end up becoming very tense. And just allow it to occur naturally. And then simply observe it clearly as it occurs. Bhante, could you explain further what you said about know the knowing or not the noting? Yeah. Does it mean we zoom out and observe our act of observing? This one you need to practice. So if you have practiced enough, you should know what I mean. Yeah. So when you practice, when you note the object, so you note the rising or you note the falling, when the mind is clear enough, automatically you can pick up this quality of knowing together with the object. Okay? So that's called noting the knowing. Okay. Yeah, so you don't have to zoom in or zoom out. Just continue noting. When your mind is clear, you'll be able to pick it up yourself. Yeah. All right. So that's all the question that I have today. Okay. If there's no other question, is there any other question? Yeah. So if not, we'll stop here today. Share merits. Imaya Dhamma nu Dhamma Patipatiya Buddham pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipatiya dhammam pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipatiya sangham pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipatiya mata pitunam pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipatiya acariyanam pujemi Adha imaya patipadaya jaram marnamha Rimoce sami idame punyam asawakaya waham hotu idame punyam nibbanasa pacayo hotu idame silam magaphalanyanasa pacayo hotu imam no punya bhagam sabba satanam dema imam no punya bhagam sabba satanam dema imam no punya bhagam sabba satanam dema sadhu sadhu sadhu. So may all of you be well, happy and peaceful always. Be healthy, be strong, be safe. May your practice of the Dhamma be smooth without any obstacles. And may you all be able to experience the unconditioned peace of Nibbana through your practice of the Dhamma.